here we go again for the All-American Cup Series here on the CSR broadcast channel. Tonight, under the lights of Richmond Speedway here. Some short track racing for the All-American Cup Series. This one should be... it should be really good, but it could potentially be really chaotic. A lot of big wrecks there in practice. Don't know how many guys were just kind of goofing around or how many guys were just absolutely struggling with the handle on the race car here this evening. But we are excited to get this thing kicked off here. We're going to go to the CSR broadcast pre-race show here, powered by Highline Racing Network, as you get some looks around the Richmond Raceway here. Like I said, these cars, an absolute handful out there. We turned some laps in practice earlier, and yeah, an absolute handful, but they were a blast. They were really, really fast. Old school NASCAR racing. The nose is picking up off the corner, dropping down to the front splitter, and the diving off into the corners. The rear end wanted to step out. A ton of horsepower coming up off the corners where it just wanted to slide. The right rear coming out. So this one is going to be just an absolute blast. So let's get a look at the schedule for the All-American Cup Series here. Richmond this evening, off for the Thanksgiving Day break next week, and then heading on off to old Atlanta on these high horsepower cars in that old abrasive racetrack. That is going to be a lot of fun there as well, to see who can manage their tires and keep the throttle pinned down in that one. See if we get a classic Atlanta finish when we head there. Then off to Rockingham for the semifinal, I guess. Would that be? I don't know. It's been a long day. And then off to the final at Homestead Miami Speedway. But tonight, 200 laps from Richmond. While we're talking about the final stint of the All-American Cup Series here, let's go ahead and get a look at your updated point standings. Lilith Peters up at the top of the points. She is having herself a spectacular season so far here this year. The points lead has changed hands quite a few times over the last few races here. So the points battle still in the championship just up for grabs here in this season 10 for the All-American Cup Series. Justin Thompson finally got the run that he needed last weekend after a rough couple weeks. Only 8 points back of the leader. Curtis White, 11 back. Casey Carrington, 16. Stephen Miles, 26. So with, with only this, after tonight, 3 races to go, I'd say realistically probably I'd put about your top 11 there. Back to Kyle Ether, 70 points out. Probably realistically could make that up. I think mathematically it could go all the way down to Zachary there in tied for 17th. 117 out. We've seen wilder things. We've seen just how much the points can change in just a couple laps. A couple races there for Justin Thompson, who had a pretty sizable lead 2 bad weeks in a row, and now finds himself sitting P2 in the points. Another couple things to keep our eyes on here for the All-American Cup Series is the Rookie of the Year candidates in the team standings. Cornerstone at the top there. You see just a few points back to Kaiju Cat Motorsports in behind. And you see the rest of the teams right there. So the battle's still up for grabs there as well. Right now, looking like Dayton Taylor, as of late, has really started to gap himself for Rookie of the Year. But still, mathematically, I would say, and realistically, those 3 drivers at the top there still with a chance to get up there and in contention for Rookie of the Year. Well, 200 laps from Richmond, Virginia here this evening. Quite a few things to note from last race. A couple disqualifications after last week. Some black flags to ask to be cleared as guys were coming out of pit road thinking they were ahead of the pace car. They were not. And unfortunately, that actually is going to lead them to a DQ. So really going to mix that up here in just a second. I will get you that information. It looks like Mullins, LaFrance, and Barkowski were DQ'd for not serving their penalties from last race. So big swing there in that one for those guys. That is a tough break. A little bit different penalty system here this week. If you cause a wreck or you believe you cause a wreck, you will be given an EOL right then and there. So that will, encourage some guys maybe keep the, I wouldn't say honesty, because I think a lot of these guys do, in fact, have integrity in this league, and they mean well by the things that they're trying to get done out there on the racetrack. But, maybe just a little bit more precautionary there. If they think they're in the wrong, they can just go ahead and take the EOL. So good things there. So just try to read through some of my notes here. Traditionally, we see a lot of green flag racing here for the All-American Cup Series, but tonight, I don't know if everyone is thinking the same. A lot of these guys worried about several caution flags under this one, and they're looking about a fuel load about 70 to 75 laps, but with as much tire spins as these guys were getting up off the corners. Not sure if we're going to see guys really want to push that limit there on fuel. You hear some of the guys out there on the track trying to make the field here, looking like three guys. Somebody just went for a spin. So guys trying to fight for the final position to get into this race here this evening. We'll see if we can get a look. Looks like Juan Escamilla is battling to try to find his way into the event here this evening. We'll keep you updated on that here in just a few moments. Well, let's bring it up right here because we do have some time to kill. So let's bring in Juan Escamilla here in the 87 machine. A little bit of a runaway right now. Almost a second back to down the 58. A lot of these guys all tore up already in this one. So looking like as long as Juan keeps his car pointed the right direction, he will, in fact, make the show here this evening. So a little bit of a chaotic start there. Juan looking like he's easily going to win this heat and get himself up into the show here. Oh, he's going to loop it off the corner, but enough momentum. He keeps it going and gets it across the line there. So Juan will make the show here this evening. We'll get some more looks around the Richmond International Raceway here as we continue on in the pre-race show. These guys are going to have their drivers meeting here in just a little bit here. Actually, just momentarily, I believe they will be heading into the drivers meeting and their eventual warm-up. We will check out some more things as we get ready to get this thing started here this evening. After last week's race, definitely is a mix-up with the penalties out there on the racetrack. So a couple more things I wanted to notate here. This is season 10, so there's 2 seasons within the year 2025. They do season 9 and season 10 champions, but then they also follow the overall champion for the entirety of the season right now. And after last week's race at Kansas, Christopher Heller looking like he is going to jump to the top of that list, just ahead of Casey Carrington and Stephen Miles, Justin Thompson, Lilith Peters. So also another thing to keep an eye on out here as the season continues on. If you guys want to be a part of this in the future, go ahead and check out the All-American Cup Series Discord. A lot of good information on there. A lot of good racers here in this league as well. Well, these guys get their warm-up started. Let's step away and do our national anthem.
And you see by the dawn's early light was so proudly whose broad strides and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we walked were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular of Osborne singing a gay through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Well, now we are back. The warm-up just about over here. As you see some of these guys ripping around the racetrack. I feel like tire wear is going to be a huge factor in this one. Obviously, dodging the wrecks. But I feel like if we get a long green flag run, managing your tires is going to be the most crucial part of your evening. If you don't have the hot lap or the top end speed, if you are somebody who is pretty good at saving your tires, that could pay huge for you as this one continues on. If you get those long green flag runs, really start to pick your way through the field. I have a feeling here that that strategy right there might just be who ends up being the race winner here this evening. Well, the warm-up is just about wrapped up. These guys going to be getting ready to head to the grid. So while we do that, let's go ahead and let's show you the qualifying results for this evening. Curtis White once again puts it on the pole, tied with the 09 of Ken down there, who had a heartbreak week last week there. At 2/100ths of a second back to Dayton Taylor, Lilith Peters, Michael Mullen, Zachary there in the 02, Connor LaFrance, who's been strong as of late, Brandon Husky, in the 25, Sheldon Atkins, Lucas Strayer, going to round out your top 10 here as you see the rest of the starting lineup for this evening. Christopher Heller with a P15 spot. Going to be interesting to see if he can find his way through the field here. A rather large field is... Oh, it's going to take us away. There we go, because these guys are getting ready to get down there on the grid. You see the rest of the starting order here as this one finishes up. Juan Escamilla, I believe, just raced his way into this one. So looking like 39 or so cars will go ahead and take the green flag here this evening. Well, it is race time here from Richmond this evening. Let's go ahead and give you the live shots from the All-American Cup Series. So you see there, Curtis White putting it on the pole here once again. This evening continues his top-notch qualifying efforts here. Ken on the outside. Dayton Taylor in the Carl Edwards 99. That car just looks so good. Lilith Peters in the Celsius 01 car. And Mullins and Zachary there in the 02. The 25 Ritas car. One of my favorite schemes out here on the field. Just in behind or beside Connor LaFrance. there in the old number 5 Tony the Tiger machine. So Curtis and these guys begin to roll it up off the racetrack here this evening. Let's go ahead and bring the sound into this one. Get these cars getting ready to roll. The lights are off on the pace car, so it'll be very quickly that they will be taking the green flag. So hopefully if you're in the back of this pack, you are up in behind the guys you're supposed to be. Now maybe extended. Yeah, it looks like they might be going one more time around because, yeah, that'd be rather quickly to try to get these guys all back off of pit road. And starting to see several of these guys trying to build heat in the tires. It was slick on new tires, so you see it there. A lot of the guys just trying to get some heat into all 4 tires, scrubbing them in, as they say. They do say that helps here on iRacing. It's usually the dry pulls or, just like that, micro movements, because if you get those long sweeping moves when you are trying to warm up or scrub in your tires, it says it sometimes can increase tire wear out here on some of these cars. Don't know how true that is, but what I do know is we are getting ready to take the green flag. Curtis White gonna lead them down to it. 200 laps from Richmond, Virginia. Ken with a great run into 1 and 2. Curtis battling back on the bottom, but the momentum of the 09 is going to clear him down the back straightaway. Ken might go ahead and grab the first lap lead. Curtis looking to have something to say about it, tries to turn underneath him, but the 09 will lead lap number 1 here this evening. We'll pull up the rest of your standings here to keep an eye out for your favorite drivers. Curtis White now pulling right back to the inside of the 2. The 5 of LaFrance is around on the back straightaway. Oh, gonna back up and catch the 06 right there. I don't think LaFrance hit anything out there on the racetrack. Looking like that car not too tore up. But we will head to the CSR replay booth here, powered by Highline Racing Network, and find out just what happens to Connor LaFrance. Looks like he's driving it pretty hard down into the corner. Up on that second groove, there is a rather large bump right there. Yeah, and that's where the back of the car just starts to step out. LaFrance gets it locked down. Oh, great job keeping that off the inside wall there. And then you're going to see him try to back up. The 06 going to get a little contact. So a small scuff there to the back bumper here at Richmond. I imagine there's going to be a lot of those guys with those kind of scuff marks by the end of it. So, but the bigger issue for LaFrance now, I know the tires were fresh, but going for that big of a slide, definitely not going to be what he wants. Kind of prematurely using a lot of wear, if you will, a lot of grip. You know, as fresh as the tires are, you never want to go for that much of a slide, especially when you're locking them down on a racetrack. That is just going to eat up your tires here this evening. Get a live look once again here. The 09 does hang on to the lead under the first caution. Just a single car spin. We'll call it a single car, even though the 06 got a very small piece of it. Not enough to really do anything other than scuff up the paint on these cars here this evening. Oh. All right, just a small blink there for Ken. Whew, thought he was going to have another rough go at it and disconnect from the race. He does not. You see him up there inside. Maybe trying to catch some of the AC from that pace car there. Get that motor nice and cool. But no, these guys, imagine if they get a long green flag run, it's going to be really fun to see just who, in fact, is able to maintain their tires and whose strategy is going to pay out the best for them here this evening. Want to thank everyone for checking us out here on YouTube, here this evening, and Twitch. Likewise, if you are on YouTube, make sure you go down there to your settings wheel, click that, turn it up to 1440. We are broadcasting in Ultra HD, so make sure if you are watching on your phone, on your computer, on a tablet, go down there, hit that button, and tune it all the way up, because you know what? It looks pretty spectacular when you do. So these guys are rolling down now into 3 and 4, getting ready to fire back off once again here. Curtis White now on the inside, the 09 being the leader, using the outside lane. You saw him get a huge, good start last time around. He once again gets a great launch. Mullins just in behind. We're back to green at Richmond. Mullins with some contact to the outside wall. Looks no worse for wear there on the 64 card. Just a brush, as they like to call it, but I'm sure a little bit more than he would have preferred. Mullins gonna be on a tear after that DQ last week. We'll see if he can back up another run here, putting a lot of pressure now to the back of the 09 as they start to pull away slightly. The 09 gonna defend on the high side. Mullins gonna try to pull it down to the bottom of the racetrack, take the shorter way, but the looser way. The high side on the racetrack seemed to be a little tight. You were a little bit more straight coming in up off the corner, able to carry some momentum. Now the 09 going to try to cross him over. Oh man, almost contact, put Mullins in the lead on lap 9 here this evening. So now for Mullins, can you settle into a rhythm? How hard did you just push it there for 2 laps to try to go out and grab that lead? You see it there, the car with a little bit of a wiggle. I mean, these cars are a absolute handful here this evening, but Mullins got that thing pinned down to the bottom of the racetrack. You see a little further back, a battle with Dayton Taylor and Lilith Peters. Couple of drivers in contention for the championship here. Dayton being one of the best drivers I have personally witnessed at saving tires for the long run. Could this finally be the week that Dayton is able to put those good runs all the way to victory lane? Stuck up on the high side right now with the 02 is Zachary to the inside as they go into turns 1 and 2. Still side by side, the yellow flag is back out on the racetrack. It looks like James Silver may have gone around towards the back of this pack. So let's get another Highline Racing replay and figure out what happened back here with James Silver. James there on the 17 on the outside, almost a similar spot. Oh, gonna get a little help in this one right there. Oh, the 18 gonna come in and grab. Oh, then the 50, the 91, and oh, the 1 just gets under the back bumper. The 50 taking some pretty significant damage in that one, as well as the 91 really took a hard shot. Let's get another couple looks at this one going into 1 and 2. The 66 is just gonna drive it down to the bottom of the racetrack here. And I think the 17's really just trying to diamond the corner. Yeah, kind of coming down, so can't really, well, also some net code. I think they inevitably were going to make contact anyway. I think the 17 just trying to get more of a diamond run there. Just comes down just a little bit, but that's all it takes here when these cars are already on edge. You see the 17 trying to pin the throttle there, then lock it down, try to get it to the bottom of the racetrack. I think the 18 is just going to suspect the 17 to slide up the hill. Then there's momentum, and oh man, lifts the rear tires off the ground of the 50. Wonder if that is going to break any bit of that suspension there. The 1 just kind of sliding up under the rear tires. So Dylan Rosenberg going to get a big piece of this one. Let's see if we can get let's get a better look, shall we? Then these right here. Let's go to the helmet cam as this all unfolds here, coming off of turn 2. Yeah, had some guys to his outside. These Gen 4 cars a lot. When you when you're hard on the brakes, they don't really like to turn. But that is some really, really significant damage. Having a hard time even being able to turn that thing down pit road. So Rosenberg, that is not the way he wanted his evening to start here. Already maybe not the best qualifying effort for him. And, you know, that just puts salt in the wound. So now we'll get a live look back up front here. Well, let's go ahead. Let's bring in the live shot here. Transition back to the live shot as they are already getting ready to go back green. That is the thing here. We're going to try to be as quick as we can with the with the replays here, especially when several cars are involved. We want to try to break it down, but we're on a short track. We don't have as much time as we normally are used to kind of give you all the different replays, all the different looks. We'll try to at least give you a couple different looks at it here tonight as we get yellow flags in this one. But Mullins and Ken back to the front row. They are approaching the Geico restart zone. And once again, they are away here at Richmond, completing the second caution of the night. The 64 going to spin the tires just a little bit on that start. Going to let the 09 dive back off into 1 and 2. The 9 really liking to use the outside here so far this evening, as we've seen Dayton Taylor, now Lilith Peters there. Oh, another one is around in the back. This time, several cars involved. I believe Thomas Stokes, Casey Carrington, Brandon, and Ian Silva caught up in this one. So now with the field, it kind of had a decent start. LaFrance spun it, got the field bunched back together, and now cautions are breeding caution. So let's go ahead and get another breakdown of this one, get it queued up, figured out what happens here. Heading down to 1 and 2. Well, I can already tell you, 3 wide here at Richmond when you're all trying to get down in the quarter. Not exactly where you want to be. The 66 to the bottom, the 9 in the middle. Gonna see the 9 maybe make some contact with the 25 up off the quarter. No, still some breathing room. We're in 1/4 speed to just gotta try to figure out what happens here. Go ahead and try to change this camera angle for you guys. The 9 just sliding up off the quarter, and oh, just makes a the slightest contact there with the 25. Gonna turn him right across the nose of the 66. Then the 9's gonna get punted here. These guys going to slide. Oh, the 51 comes in late. I think he is just an innocent bystander in this. I think Ian was just trying to get checked up. And it seems as if the way he came sliding in, maybe got some help on this. We'll see if he just got on the brakes hard. Oh, he's going to, oh my Lord, the 53 almost goes over. So the 53 gets on the brakes hard. Ian was not quite ready for that checkup. And, yeah, so you saw it there. But, man, the 53 went for one crazy shot there. Get another look from the helmet cam. So they're going through the quarter. On board with the 25. Yeah, so I don't think anything intentional out of any of those drivers there. I think the 9 just trying to innocently slide up in behind the 25 there, and then just, yeah, unfortunately not quite all the way clear. I mean, that's about as close as you could be to being clear without being clear. And, yeah, just going to make some contact. Several guys getting damaged in this one. Rosenberg, unfortunately, that is his evening. That car could not be repaired, so he is out in this one early, really putting a damper on his week here at Richmond. Luckily got the holiday break here for some of these guys. I feel like after tonight, some of the frustrations might be really high. They'll have a week or two to think on it. But right now, back to the restart zone. The 64 and 09 continuing their battle out front. Oh, the 64 got a great launch, maybe a little bit too good of a launch. Had to check up there to let the 09 across the start-finish line first. Did not want to get a penalty there. The 09 continuing to use that high side of the racetrack. Seems like Mullins likes being wrapped around the bottom. The 9 at the top, a little bit of contact. They lean on each other, but everyone's okay right there. Drag race, give it to Ken that time around. Oh, they got more contact. The leaders. Oh, wow, what a save. Curtis White all the way to the outside. The 9 still struggling to hang on to it now. There we go. Dayton Taylor Heller. Oh, man, a huge wreck here on the back straightaway. Looking like 12 or so cars in this one going to get just, oh man, several guys making a ton of contact here. We might end up missing the restart in this one to try to break this one all down here. Get another couple shots here. Had a little bit of contact between the two leaders. Drag race, they do it right here. They do a fantastic job hanging on to these cars. Mullins just getting on the brakes, trying to do his best to let him hang on to it. The tires are slick on the 9 coming off the quarter. Then here we go. Now we are just going to get a stack up. Several guys. They got the 5 in it. The 6 is going to get some contact. The 20, 25 back in it as well. Ton of guys in this one. Wow, I believe 24 cars made contact in this wreck. Kyle Ether might also be out in this one. Try to get some more looks at this one as they all stack up off the quarter. Some guys just trying to give some room. Ethers sees it early. Unfortunately, he's going to go down here and get the inside wall. Doesn't look too bad. Definitely some damage on that machine. Go ahead and keep trying to get some looks at this one. The 38 going to be in it. I believe we are close to 20 cars involved in this one. Craig Martin looks like he is in it as well. The 13 somehow comes out of that rather unscathed. I believe the 62 is in it as well. Oh man, Justin Thompson almost goes around right there as well. Oh, Ether makes some hard contact with the outside wall there. 18. Oh man, the 18. We're gonna just rewind that right here. Try to give it a pause because the 18 is almost completely under the 25 car here. Let's see if we can find Brandon there. There we go. Put it. I mean, you know, the 18's just doing his best to slow down. There's just cars all over the racetrack, and yeah, damn near flips over the 25. So, yeah, go ahead. And Stephen Miles, I believe, is in this as well. The guys are back to green flag racing. We'll continue to break this down here in just a little bit. Like I said, we don't have as much time as we usually do out here on the racetrack. So we'll get you back to the live scene. We are in the live scene. We got so wrapped up in getting that one. So now we'll get a look up front. Lilith Peters going to lead us around here as we are back to green with Curtis White. So I just want to give you a rundown. Looks like Kyle Ether, Justin Ray, Craig Martin, Connor LaFrance, Ken, Xavier, Stephen Miles, Trevor McLaughlin, Brandon, Chris Worrell, Josh Dillon, Michael, Jared Ray Hunting in the 50, Dominic Russo, Stephen Miles, John, Ian Silva was in that, Aaron as well, Thomas Stokes, and Steve Melnick all wrapped up in that yellow flag there on the racetrack. We'll definitely try to notate that, go back to that here in a little bit. But right now, Lilith Peters continues to lead us around under green. Now starting to get a small advantage here. You're seeing now only 23 cars on the lead lap. That may have been the biggest wreck we have seen for the All-American Cup Series, and we've already been to Talladega so far this year. But Richmond, yeah, that's one of the things we did not get a chance to talk about. If you follow the NASCAR Cup Series, we have seen some spectacular wrecks just like that one, and dang near the same spot. The guy's hitting that jet out there on the inside wall where the safety vehicles come on and off the racetrack. Several guys make some ton of contact in that one. Got to give credit to the virtual, cleanup crew, because, boy, there's a lot of things to clean up. They got that thing right back to green flag. Now, Lilith Peters continues to lead us around. Now seeming to be a little bit calmer of a start. This time around, the field starting to spread out just a little bit, except for right around the 06 and the 3 of Justin Thompson. We'll try to get you guys all caught up on pit stops as well. Some guys did make their way on pit road. Get a look here at a couple of these guys that were just caught up in the wreck. Ian with some heavy damage. Steve Melnick there in the 19 looks okay. Michael Mullins, he is all right. Just got that damage repaired. Just fighting to say tail end of the lead lap. Stokes as well. Dayton Taylor, unfortunately, yeah, that is going to put a huge damp on his race here as the rest of these guys. You see just all the carnage sitting on pit road right now. These guys going to try to do their best to get their cars fixed. Valuable points still on the table as we come out to the close of this season here. So we'll see which driver can get themselves back onto the racetrack the soonest. But right now, Lilith Peters continues to lead here. Lap 35 in the bank, 36 on the board out of 200 here this evening. So some great onboard shots here around the racetrack. Casey Carrington able to get us some of these shots, so they're absolutely fantastic around the racetrack right now, as we got some live looks on board with some of the guys going around the racetrack here this evening. We'll try to get some driver interviews here in just a second. Maybe some of the guys who were caught up in this one. Lilith Peters continues to lead. We'll go with some mixed TV cams here. Almost a crank it up cam around the racetrack here this evening. The one thing I want to keep an eye on, as well as this race continues on, is see those brake rotors glowing out here on the racetrack. See who's really getting after it on the brakes. It's something awesome iRacing has included here. As you hear the speed difference, these guys dang near bouncing it off the chip getting down the straightaways, and then you can hear just how much they're up out of the throttle heading into the corner. Oh, we got some contact right there up off the corner. We're going to get more chaos. LaFrance just comes out of pit road after getting that damage fixed. The 50 going to, jack up the rear end of the 13 right there. We got another parking lot on the back straightaway. Oh, that's the 12 right there of John. So another multi-car crash here. Oh, am I getting a notification Lilith Peters has gone around? No, she's just checking up for the pace car. Okay. So let's get another quick look at this one. You got to remind your broadcaster to be much faster here. Transitioning through the replays here this evening because we do not have a lot of time. We saw it there kind of from one of our camera angles. 21 dives it up into the corner. We'll see here. We don't never want to cast too much blame, but we always want to try to get to the bottom of it. The 21 going to be on the bottom of the racetrack. Slides up just a little bit, but I think the 65 is also coming down, so I'm going to chalk that up to two drivers going for the same real estate there on the racetrack. Maybe the 65 expecting the 21 to wrap it tighter to the bottom of the racetrack. You're going to see LaFrance in the 53 coming into it. The one car also getting caught up. Oh, poor LaFrance there. He just got that car repaired. And then, it just keeps, the shots keep coming here. And then you're going to see the 50 get right up under the 12 right here. Just jack that car up there, up off the quarter here. We'll see if we can get a look at this. There's just so much movement. So many guys on pit road trying to fix damage right now. See if we can find, I think the 66 is somewhere around it. Yep, he's there on the inside. Let's see, SDK, come on, work with me here. There we go. As we'll quickly try to get through this. The 12, all kinds of jacked up here on the racetrack. Try to find you a good camera angle to really kind of capture what, just how far that car is up off the ground. Looking like the game really not wanting to work with us too well on that one. We'll get a look for the gearbox. Yeah, you're looking straight over the 50 car there. So we'll get a live look back out here on the racetrack here this evening. Get a look back because I believe Michael Mullins, he has cycled back to P2, so maybe he went and got those tires last time around, staying out here this time. So let's go ahead and bring up our pit length here. Looking like Curtis White has not made a pit stop just yet. Looks like Peters. And, yeah, just about the rest of the field. So looking like Mullins went ahead and pitted when he got that damage and that wreck earlier. And then staying out for this one to get some track position back. Curtis White still on his original set of tires. So must have a strategy call in play that he wants to continue to use through this one. Maybe believing we're going to see more cautions, but right now it's a lot of the field just kind of eliminating themselves. The lights are back on the pace car. Sounds like Sheldon Ackerson may have gone around back here in the 65. Something happened to Sheldon. We'll get a quick look at it here. Don't want to try to spend too much time here. These guys are getting back green. Or is frustration coming out or just a mistake? All right. Okay, so just in the wrong running order, he went ahead and trying to get that EOL, as we talked about in the new the penalty report, if you will. So they extended it to try to get him that EOL. Maybe had been asking for it, just wasn't able to get it in time. So one more lap under the yellow flag. Curtis White, Michael Mullins up front. Man, the cautions are just so fast here. We're still trying to break down. I promise we will try to get to some of these drivers soon. Wrapping up our fifth yellow of the evening. Curtis White firing back off on the outside with Michael Mullins to the inside. Complete lap 49, 50 on the board. We're a quarter of the way through this one. The fresh tires. Oh, the 21, a huge shot in the outside wall. So the yellow flag back out on the racetrack here. The 21, the way he turned and snapped into that outside wall, gotta believe Christopher Murphy, excuse me, may have gotten some help on this one here. Bring up another replay look of it here. Just trying to get my things in the right order here. Don't worry about me. I'm just over here making all kinds of mistakes tonight. Trying to get our stuff the way it should be up here on the screen, so we're not having these constant delays between everything here as I'm starting to slide everything in the way. But here we go. Let's go ahead. Let's get a look what happens. Oh, that is not it. I love when SDK does this to me. You have it queued up, you have it ready to go, and then it just decides, hey, we're going to switch the whole thing up on you here. So let's go ahead, scroll back through our notifications here this evening. Just going to try to find what happened back to the 21. We got a lot of guys going around passing here. So let's figure out what happens to Christopher here up off the corner, battling with the 3. Heading down into 3 and 4. Oh, the rear end just starts to step out. And, oh, man. Overcorrected the car. So the rear end starts to step out on the 21 machine. And he puts some wheel. It's sliding. He puts a bunch of wheel into it. And then that car just snaps back. You watch his hands here on the left side of the screen and take a listen. Tough break for the driver of the 21. At the time, running inside the top 10. Gotta imagine that's some significant engine damage here. So the chaos continues here from Richmond this evening. So at the same time, what we saw there, Curtis White, the fresh tires were making a huge difference. He started falling his way back pretty quickly. Maybe not what he originally intended for here, as I believe he now may have finally made that pit stop. Yeah, just made it. So unfortunate for him. I think he was hoping for at least 10 or 15 more laps under the green flag, so these guys in front of him started to burn up those tires. But now only a couple laps difference between on them. We'll see how Curtis White can find his way back through the field. But Michael Mullins, Lilith Peters on the outside, they're firing back off and away once again here from Richmond. So now, just about lap 60. The field kind of start to calm down here. A lot of these guys out of contention. You only have 21 cars now on the lead lap. Several of the lead lap cars have taken damage already in this one as Michael Mullins continues to lead out here. Starting to get some guys spread out throughout the field. You see Kyle Ether there. I thought his race was pretty much going to be handled out here on the racetrack. Lilith Peters starting to close back in on the back bumper of the 64 here. Could Lilith be the one to steal the win here and continue to extend her point lead here in Season 10 of the All-American Cup Series? But like I was saying earlier, if we got to this point, it was going to be really interesting to see whom was the best at saving their tires. I think with some of the guys like Dayton Taylor, LaFrance having the issues he's had. I think some of the guys that we was expecting that have shown the strength in the tire saving and the tire runs, as we saw last week with LaFrance and Mullins at Kansas. LaFrance was running down Mullins at the end. Dayton Taylor, when they saw Indianapolis, was one of the guys that were really good at saving tires. With some of them having issues here early, could this be where somebody else shines here tonight? Maybe catches the attention of your rookie broadcaster up here and, start to turn some laps. The other thing, with only 21 cars on the racetrack and them starting to spread out a little bit, could this be where we get that long 50, 100 lap run and really start to stretch this out, where guys then have to fight with the leader to try their best to stay on the lead lap? Because right now Mullins continue to put down some lap times. But let's go ahead and see. Let's do some comparisons right here. Lilith Peters, that last time around, a 1/10 of a second faster than the leader. Then right there, about drawing even. Lilith trying a slightly different line through 1 and 2, losing a little bit of a higher line. Gets a good run down the back straightaway here. So Lilith trying a couple things. Right there, the lap before was faster. We'll check this lap. Definitely had to be faster. Oh, we might have to. There we go. Yeah, so about 1/2 faster. So she's searching around the racetrack right now, trying to find a way to get not only there, but around the 64. As you see her trying to, that old diamond. So the 64 down to the bottom early, high up the corner. Lilith going in high, coming off low now, all over the back bumper of the 64 here at Richmond. Let's get a look on board here from the helmet cam of Lilith Peters. You see kind of the nose right there. It's literally right inside the visor. Getting a good look at the battle for the lead here for the All-American Cup Series. Lilith now right to the back bumper of the 64 again. Going to drive it down off, and you try to use the high side. Going to try to cross him over by getting a big run off of turn 2 down the back straightaway. We're on board. You can see just how much of a handful these drivers have out here on the racetrack. You can hear the RPMs just spiking up off the quarter. Tells you a little loose. They got a ton of horsepower. Lilith now takes a look to the inside, putting Mullins on the outside where he has not been. He's just going to say, you got it. She is putting down some seriously impressive lap times. Not going to sit there and battle and risk tearing up these race cars. So Lilith Peters, your points leader, to the lead here. Richmond running a slightly different line than the rest of the field. Going to take the lead here on lap 74 and lead, 73 and lead going into lap 74. She just absolutely continues to impress here in this series. Definitely, and I mean no disrespect, one of the best, if not the best, female drivers I have seen on the iRacing service here in a predominantly male-dominated surface simulator, video game, whatever you want to play. Lilith just continuing to kick ass out here. A seriously impressive driver, you know, no matter the gender, but still, she is bad fast and continues to prove that she is bad fast here, leading and walking away here from Michael Mullins, now under siege here from Zachary and Justin Thompson. Now after a rough couple weeks, had a good rebound last week at Kansas, now finding himself into the picture as well. Justin wants his points lead back. We'll see. He's going to need to get ahead of Lilith if he wants to continue to make up points in the standings, as he's inside the O2 here in 1 and 2. Man, it seems like every time we go to that camera, they clear the inside of the other guy to the outside now here. We'll see if we can get it with Curtis White trying to get back up to the front, doing a pretty good job rebounding. Like I said, I think he was hoping for a longer green flag run, making these guys use up some of their stuff before he ended up coming down pit road for the first time tonight. Unfortunately, the caution did not happen. I think he saw just how much he was losing on the racetrack. Did not want to continue to lose ground if just in case they did get a long green flag run like this. So Curtis opted to bring it down pit road, get 4 tires, and has rebounded nicely, sitting in P5. Justin Ray here in the 38 machine, also having himself a pretty solid night, running in the 7th position. The yellow flag is back out. I think James Silver has gone back around here this evening. Heading down the back straightaway, the 50. Oh! Wow. Alrighty then. I'm not laughing at you. I'm just trying to figure out what just happened. That looks like maybe some frustration being shown. I mean, the speed difference, the nose was still pointed up in the air for the driver of the 51. Didn't seem like he was getting on the brakes. We'll get a look on board. I think the tape tells the tale right there. So looking like a decent amount of guys back on pit road here. Lilith Peters, Curtis White on pit road. Get a look at the race off of pit road here, right from the end of the first box here. Curtis White in that first pit box here this evening. The 64 Mullins, the 02, the 01, as you see the race off of pit road. So that is going to give Justin Ray, a guy that we were just giving the nod to out there on the racetrack, the lead. But let's see if we can hurry up and try to dial up somebody out here on the racetrack. Well, you know what? Let's see if we can move Ian here from Platinum Elite. Ian, it's Craig up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, mate, I gotcha.
Well, the floor is yours. What just happened there?
I've got no idea. No, I just lost my brake marker there, and yeah, just pushed James up into the wall. It was entirely my fault. Yeah, I just lost track of where I was on the track.
All right, well, that's a story, and he's sticking to it. A rough go in this one. You've had yourself a good season. You know, still plenty of laps in this one. I know you're kind of mired back here, a couple laps down, but if these cautions keep coming, do you think you can get yourself at least a top 15 here this evening?
Pretty unlikely, actually. I had about a minute of repairs from the earlier incident, and now I've got 5 minutes of repairs, so I'm just going to ride it out. So I'll be, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50, a million, who knows, laps down by the time I get back out there.
All right, well, we'll hope we catch up with you next week.
Cheers, Craig.
So we'll see if we can dial up the other part of this story here. James, it's Craig in the booth. Ian saying he just missed his braking mark there. Do you have a different opinion? James, it's Craig in the booth. He may have stepped away. The green flag is back out on the racetrack, so we'll get him back down to his chat. Let's get a live look back out here on the racetrack. Things are just happening so fast here. We'll see if we can catch up with him in just a minute, but the 38 continuing to lead here. Now back under green. Some guys, now the pit strategy's getting a little jumbled up in this one. So we'll see, you know, just how that one kind of works out here this evening. Just trying to remember where James belongs here. I believe, yeah, James, yeah, we got him. I think, oh, no, he may have moved himself. I think I was hovering over it. I think I had the right spot for him. But, yeah, I'd be curious to see James' thoughts. He may have just left Discord. Frustration maybe setting in for James. We'll have to see if we can get the thoughts of some of his teammates on that one. Ian saying he lost his braking mark. I don't know. I don't know if I buy that story, but hey, that's a story, and he's sticking with it there. Out there on the racetrack, Justin Ray continue to lead laps, but on the hunt already. Lilith Peters diving off to the inside, going to easily take the lead back here, coming off of two. Not quite clear now. Should be clear, all clear here in the middle of 3 and 4. Lilith Peters back to lead, just shy of halfway here in this one. Got some great action right here. These guys trying to settle out. Who's going to get into the top 5 here? Let's bring up our pit strategy here because, like I said, we've been so busy trying to break down these wrecks and get all caught up with the action. Yeah, looking like a good majority of these guys just came on the pit road. Anderson and Giroux. Looking like they are out there on a little bit older tires, but a good majority of the pack. And Ray as well, staying out on the racetrack. But so new tires definitely paying off here. You'll just see. We'll get a look at the lap times and just how big of a difference it is. Half a second there on almost 40 lap old tires for the 38. Maybe just trying to save a pair here, thinking we might get a caution towards the end of this one, and then his car might absolutely be a rocket ship at the end of it. But you see they're losing almost half a second every lap to the guys with fresh tires. Now this man, Justin Thompson, now gets his way up to P2 in the 3 machine. We'll see if he can run down Lilith Peters as the laps continue to tick away here from Richmond. So right now, Justin Thompson not really making up too much ground. Actually losing about a tenth of a second right now. But again, maybe just playing the strategy game. Knows the pace that he wants to run right now. That lap a little bit more even for Thompson here. But Lilith Peters just continuing to lead in this one. Now has herself 31 laps led here this evening. Looking sporty. Going to be hard to pick anybody but Lilith to go ahead and grab the victory here this evening. Get a look back here at some of these guys in the back of the field. The 50 having an adventurous race, and as well as the 12 car just ahead of him out here on the racetrack. You see the damage on the 12. These guys continuing their runs at the top 20 right now. Surprising here for the 50 and the 12 that they are still going with as many incidents that they have been involved in here this evening. You're seeing several of the cars here that were involved in wrecks earlier continuing to try to turn laps. Guys like Connor LaFrance, who was scored almost in the 34th position out here on the racetrack, got that car repaired, continue to turn laps with several of these guys suffering significant damage, could quite possibly continue to pick up spots on the racetrack, and a guy on the hunt for a championship. That is what you do. It might not be, the most entertaining race for you when you know you're so many laps down and you're really just trying to salvage, some points here. Definitely going to be frustrations for Connor, but still out there trying to make the best out of a night gone wrong there in the 5 car. Steve Melnick is up 10 positions as they run right now, just kind of taking it easy right now, finding himself in the 22nd position. Mitchell Mark here in the 28 machine finds himself up 18, as well as the 12. I believe they are going to be some of the biggest movers of the race, but right now Dominic Russo holds that title. Excuse me, I am wrong. The second highest mover of the race is Dominic Russo, up 20 spots right now. The guy on the move, we saw him get in the first incident, and the second one, Chris Worrell here, another guy we saw, I believe, in Indianapolis, being able to save tires. He's up 30 spots from the 36th starting position, riding in P6. So a good run for the driver of the 06 right now. Lilith Peters out of turn 4. We are officially halfway from Richmond for the All-American Cup Series. So Lilith continuing to pull away here, opening up her lead about another 0.2 of a second from the last time we checked in. Continuing for a car that just seems like it's struggling for grip out there on the racetrack, making it look smooth right now. A little bit of a right turn there up off the corner, just trying to keep that thing pointed off the chip, getting it down in the straightaway. Now lap traffic potentially an issue here for the leader coming up. Could that be what allows Justin Thompson to close back up on the back bumper of Lilith? Let's get a look at kind of how much this field is spread out right now. The conveyor belt, if you will, starting here. If it stays green flag in about 15 to 20 laps, Lilith could be in some heavy lap traffic here. So going to be interesting to see that as well. You got to take care of your tires. You got to take care of and manage your fuel load. You got to try to keep your strategy on board here with all the cautions. Try not to use up too many sets of tires, though. But now also that's a nice 1 second lead you got going on there. But now you also have some lap traffic to deal with here. Good old short track racing here. The 21 brushes the wall just in behind Lilith, going another lap down as we saw that car snap around earlier on the overcorrect. That thing was sliding, all of a sudden found grip and nosed it into the outside. Casey Carrington right now, they're just limping around the racetrack, being scored in P20, still on the lead lap right now as they run. Get a look on board here with the driver of the 9. You just hear that car just not quite up to full song. with the amount of damage he's had to take in this one. You get a look at Casey going to work behind the wheel. Casey just giving the bottom of the racetrack up to Lilith there. That car for Lilith Peters just absolutely on rails, and now Casey going one lap down. So just about everyone that she is racing in contention for the championship having some big struggles here this evening, with the exception of Curtis White and Justin Thompson. There you see Dayton Taylor now at the bottom of the racetrack. That car badly wounded. Really had high hopes for Dayton here this evening. Unfortunately, it all went sideways in that earlier, just the big one at Richmond. I was going to say pile up. I think pile up would have sufficed there in that situation, but we didn't quite get the big one per se at Talladega, but we definitely got it at Richmond here this evening as they go ahead and complete lap 110 here. I don't know if you saw it just there, but as it got in the corner with the green flag runs, the brake rotors starting to ignite here under the lights at Richmond. Chris Worrell just continues to impress here, running down now this top 5 here. Now has him in sight. Out here, we'll try to get a look at the battle box there. You see the battle for, really 4th through 6 heating up. You see just how many positions some of these guys have gained and lost throughout the evening here. Try to get you a little bit better data here. Try to find the lap time for these guys. I don't know if it's going to give us that data. I wanted to see the comparison of the lap time between these guys out here on the racetrack, but looking like all we can do is really compare it to first place. I wanted to see what the lap times were between Curtis White and Chris Worrell, because that car, likewise, like Peters, kind of on rails right now, doing a good job maintaining and showing that he is one of the stronger cars here under green flag conditions. Sheldon in the 65, who was also caught up earlier, got that car repaired, also finds himself inside the top 10 right now. Kyle Ether, we saw take that big shot earlier in the Dale Jr. Budweiser car, also recovers nicely up to P8. Justin Ray back here in the 38 machine, the Dale Earnhardt 3, the Dale Earnhardt Jr. 8 on that one. Looks a little odd, but actually looks really good on the race car right now, and looks really good sitting inside the top 10. And then Cody Anderson here also likewise just kind of found himself just pinballing through some of the wrecks earlier. Rounds out your top 10 right now. Car just kind of, making the best of it the night where it could have gone bad, but finds himself inside the top 10 as we get a look back up front, because I notice at the ticker, Justin Thompson is coming. Running down Lilith Peters there, a 1/10 of a second faster as this lap as this green flag run goes on. Now just about even there. Don't know if Lilith really had trouble going through the pack or if this is just Justin Thompson showing his strength on a long green flag run. The tire save mode. I did notice out of everyone, looked like Lilith had the most brake rotor glow on that 0-1. So the race for the lead heating up here at Richmond. Slightly different lines for the top two right here. Justin just about on the bottom of the racetrack. Then now Justin up a little higher, trying to get that run as Lilith has to deal with some lap cars. Keep an eye down there on the lap times because now Lilith Peters starting to edge out Justin Thompson by a couple 100ths of a second over the last few laps. Right there, you see it. Yeah, Thompson literally 6/100ths of a second slower that last lap, but maintaining as Lilith Peters working her way through traffic, completing lap 123 here from Richmond. For a moment there, a small slide out of the 0-1 allowed the 3 to catch back up to the back bumper as she had to deal with some more lap traffic. But these top 2 leaders here this evening really just on rails, pulled away by 3.2 seconds over Michael Mullins there in 3rd place. Now has the top 15 in their sights to start putting 1 lap down as this run continues on. Gotta imagine, though, we're probably not too terribly far away from green flag pit stops. These guys trying to set themselves up for the final bit of this race. Gotta imagine here they're gonna see some different strategies, looking like the entire top 8 are on the same strategy here. But if you can get 70 or so laps out of the tank, do you try to short pit this run now that you are probably just about in your window on fuel? Is this a point that you try to short pit, make up that run? But now that, well, that will change all of it here. The yellow flag back out on the racetrack. I'm not getting a notification for anybody that had gone around here. Trying to look to see. Dominic Russo was potentially the next car 1 lap down. I'm not sure what brought out this caution flag out here on the racetrack. Just quickly trying to go through the field here, see if anybody's got any damage. Yeah, I don't have a notification for anybody that may have gone around. Oh, maybe. Oh, may have found it. This might be an earlier one here. let's see if we can pull up the replay here, figure out maybe what happened out here to bring out this caution flag. Miles just, yep, there it is. Loose off of turn 4. Just goes down and kisses the inside wall. So that will bring out the caution. Like I said, we were curious to see just how this would play out. But now we have to get up here and check the race off of pit road. Justin Thompson just edging out Lilith Peters out of pit road there. So Justin Thompson should go to the point here, trying to get some heat in those tires, taken off down the back straightaway. So yeah, Steve Miles going around for that slide. Brought out the yellow flag. I'm also getting a notification that Melnick, something may have happened to Melnick at the same time that we had that earlier. Yep, the same exact thing as the one car right there. Goes for a slide almost in the same tire marks, a little bit further down the straightaway. So he just went for a slide up off the corner. Goes throw some grass all over the racetrack there as well. So that was just, I believe, just after the yellow flag had just started to come out. So get a look back up front here. Several of the damaged race cars from earlier incidences gonna go ahead and try to take the wave around here. We'll see if we can get a quick word with one of these drivers. Don't really want to mess them up as they're getting ready to take off once again here, with some of the cars going to go ahead and take their wave around right now. Yeah, these guys already getting ready to get back to green flag, so I don't really want to mess up anybody out there on the racetrack. So we might just have to wait to get our interviews and our thoughts at the end of this one. Stick around. Anybody who has something to say about this one, stick around in the chat. I will try to get to you, you know, as this after this race unfolds here this evening. Pit road looks like a junkyard. Yes, it does. It did earlier for sure. I'm just seeing that comment now as they're getting ready to go back green. But yeah, several cars tore up. Lilith on the door. Justin Thompson gets a great launch. May have caught Lilith sleeping just a little bit, so Thompson rockets down into 3 and 4. It seemed like Lilith was good on the front half of the run. Thompson started closing in on the bottom half, and now we got another yellow flag back out. Justin Ray has gone around. Not sure if he has brought anyone with him. So let's get another highline breakdown of see what happens here. That guy's out on the racetrack. Oh, the 21 just trying to check up from not run over. Oh, man. Is that who I think that is that just got another piece of the unfortunate action out here on the racetrack? 21 just trying to keep from running over the back of the 14 right there. Just going to slide up the hill. 38 was okay until right there. Oh, the 23 with a huge shot right there. That car is going to be pretty well taken care of. Aaron Warren there. Yeah, that car probably just about done for the race, as we've already turned to about 135 laps in this one. Can't imagine he will get much of an opportunity to get that thing back out on the racetrack. So let's get another live. Can't imagine we got anybody going to make their way down pit road this time. So maybe with a little bit extra time, we'll try to get a word from somebody out here on the racetrack. Let's see if we can bring in the driver of the 06 right now from Kaiju Cat. Chris, it's Craig up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
What's going on? So you were looking, well, the beginning of the race wasn't looking too promising. He got caught up in a lot of drama out there on the racetrack. This second half of the race looking much better for you. You're pretty strong there on the long run. Is that something you put a lot of work into? Is that something you're hoping to kind of see this race finish out and stay green? Or you got a little something for the short run here too?
I mean, it would be nice. Right now I'm blinking like crazy. I don't even know if y'all can hear me. I'm going in and out so many times. But You know, I'm just hoping I don't get disconnected at this point, to be honest with you. And,
Well-
it would be nice to stay green, but we'll see.
Well, you sound and look solid out there on the racetrack, so hopefully. Oh, and then right there, you blink. See?
I'm gone.
Oh no!
You jinxed me, dog. What
I
are you
did.
doing, dog?
I have the worst broadcaster's curse.
That's America.
Oh
Oh
man!
my gosh, I can't believe you. Tell him to stop. Tell him to stop for me.
All right, I'll pass it on to Casey.
Appreciate it. Stop. Oh, excuse my language. I
Oh
apologize.
no,
That
that's
sucks.
all right. That really does blow because I was really looking
Well,
forward to
then.
watching you. Oh man!
I was looking
You know
forward
what?
to
I
racing,
think
my friend.
I think I'm done interviewing people or talking. I think I'm just gonna let just the racing take it because I have the worst jinx luck out of everyone. Well, hopefully you can quickly connect. Maybe you get that quick caution. Get right back out there on
I
the
hope
racetrack.
so. I hope so. Screw Spectrum Internet. I just want to say that before I leave. But anyway,
Well, I don't
thanks
blame
again
you
for
on that
having me.
one. Well, hopefully you get back soon, buddy.
I'm trying. I'll see you in a second.
Alrighty.
Later, dude.
So getting ready to get back green, man. I really do. I tried so hard to get an interview in, and as soon as I get an interview, he starts saying he's blinking like crazy, and then bloop, he is gone from this one. He's gonna need a very quick. Oh, Justin Thompson, way up the hill right there. In 1 and 2 opens the door. Lilith Peter says, "Thank you very much." I'll go right through that. We got 3 wide back here with Curtis White. Ether on the bottom as well. Still 3 wide. The 02, the 8 is loose on the bottom of the racetrack. He hangs on to that one. The 65 now charging hard to the outside of Kyle. Out of turn 2, you get a great shot. Finally, we get a use of this camera right here. This is an awesome shot looking out the passenger side of the race car right here. And let's see if he can pull back even with the 65 down the front straightaway. You also have the 63 under attack from the 02 of Zachary there. But we saw that big slide out of the 3, but now the 3 all over the back of Lilith Peters once again, diving off into 3 and 4. Gonna wash up just a little bit. Who can get the throttle down out of 4? Lilith right now wins the drag race around this time. 57 laps to go from Richmond after a long green flag run. We get that caution. The field all right back together. Still only 15 cars on the lead lap. Casey Carrington getting the wave around that time. It's still side by side for the lead for the All-American Cup Series. Close racing here for the lead. The 3 gonna try to drive it down here in the corner. You see the 01 trying to use the high side of the racetrack, generate that run up off the corner, looking across the 3 over, gets the run she was looking for. Now to the bottom of the racetrack, the 3 trying to pit her down there, gets the 01 just a little out of shape, and now here comes Michael Mullins as well. As these guys battling hard up here, gonna open the opportunity up for Mullins and Curtis White, but right now they get it sorted back out. The 06 is back out there on the racetrack. Man, tough break. He was having such a good run. Was really looking forward to see what Chris could do if this did stay green. He made up a ton of ground on the racetrack. Now finds himself 7 laps down. Not very happy with Spectrum Internet, and I would not be either if I was in his shoes. Lilith almost to the back bumper of the 3. Maybe a very small bit of contact. These 2 drivers putting on one hell of a show here from Richmond. You see another big run there out of the 01. The 3 sliding. Get a listen on board with some of these, out of these top 2 drivers, I should say, because, boy, they have got to be absolutely wheeling these things. Some great racing from the All-American Cup Series here. Justin Thompson now to the lead. Lilith Peters is gonna want it back. She has led 73 laps of this race, but Thompson now finds himself out front, still with an opportunity to gain points on Lilith Peters. She's trying to maintain that championship form, keeping everyone in behind her. Still, a P2 finish would not be disastrous for her, would continue to gap some of the guys around her, with the exception of, obviously, Thompson, who is very, very close in the Season 10 points battle. We are down to 49 laps to go. So Justin Thompson, Lilith Peters, Michael Mullins, Curtis White now closing up to the back of the 64 right here as well. Sheldon Atkins there in the 65, continue his strong run. Kyle Ether right there as well. Stephen Miles, we've seen him have some issues on the racetrack. Really no fault of his own, with the exception of the slide off of turn 3 that brought out the last caution. Finds himself still in 8th. Dominic Russo continuing a strong run right now, up 21 spots, and Jared Ray Hutton rounds out your top 10. Michael Stokes down here in the 66 likewise had some issues early in the race. You see the damage on the car, but he's still riding in P11 right now. Lucas Strayer, he was up towards the front earlier in this one, inside the top 10, top 5. He has now slid outside the top 10. We'll see if he can battle back through it. Chris Worrell looking like he's also jumped back to the pits, maybe still having some internet connection issues. That is a tough break for him. Still out front is the 3 of Justin Thompson. Still seeing some of these guys continue to make laps down here. If you're looking at the bottom of the ticker, there's still a lot of movement. Some of the guys got themselves back out. LaFrance is up a couple more spots now, up to 29th, as he continues to take laps around the racetrack right now. So still implications out there in the points battle there, as Justin Thompson, if he can pull this off tonight, it is going to be much needed. A rough few string of races for him. Got back on track last week. This run right here could be exactly what the doctor ordered for the crew of the 3 car right here, as he continues to knock down the laps here for the All-American Cup Series from Richmond. Boy, these Gen 4 cars sure are an absolute handful. If you haven't had a chance to experience racing them, 900 horsepower, heavy stock cars on a beat-up short track really shows just how excellent these drivers are. Justin Thompson, a 4,600 I rating. Lilith Peters, almost a 4,200 iRating. You got Curtis White, over 5,000. Zachary Metz right there in the 02, over 5,500 iRating. So these guys definitely have a ton of skill out here and showing it, because, boy, when I got behind the wheel for practice, this car was a absolute handful. I think my best lap was good enough for somewhere around 20th or so. Obviously, these guys have been, running these cars all season long, so they kind of know the ins and outs, the little tricks, but still, nonetheless, I wasn't running anywhere close to the lap times as these guys up here in the front of this field. Really, really awesome race car drivers, sim drivers, whatever you want to call it. Nonetheless, these guys out here continuing to perform here this evening. Gonna look back up front, because now Justin Thompson has stretched that lead out a little bit further over Lilith Peters. Wonder if she is trying the approach that Thompson did last run. Let him go out there, burn up his stuff, run a slightly different pace than the driver of the 3, and try to reel him back in at the end. But Michael Mullins now to the back bumper of the 01. Is still one of the things I've noticed. The 01 still running that higher line in the middle of the corner. She generates a ton of speed down the straightaway. When we're on board, you can see her rev limiter with the light up there. She's carrying a ton of speed down the straightaways, but using a tad bit more brake getting in. Yeah, you see the brake rotors glowing there. Something I'm not seeing on many of the other race cars. Could be what led to a little bit of the tire wear that she experienced the last long green flag run here on the racetrack. We'll try to get a look to see if we can see that on any of the other cars here, like Mullins as he heads down into 3 and 4. Yeah, not really seeing that much brake rotor glow out of the 64 as we are seeing in the 01. So wonder if that is something that Lilith has just come to terms with there on the 01. Something she's trying to use, just using that momentum and that run down those straightaways and generate some speed that way. But also wonder if that could be hurting that right front tire on that 01 machine as she falls into the clutches of Michael Mullins here. Out of turn 4, we have 29 laps to go from Richmond. So now Mullins around Lilith here. Lilith trying to get a massive run as she has gotten all evening long, but Mullins able to rotate it down to the bottom of the racetrack. Here Thompson does a good job picking his way through the lap traffic there. Does not really lose any time, but now Mullins up to P2. We'll see what he can do to run down Thompson as we are heading into the final 27 laps here for the All-American Cup Series. Now seeing that brake rotor glow as well out of the 3. You just saw it there in 3 and 4 as these long green flag laps green flag runs continue to tick away. 42 laps on this set of tires now for most of the lead pack. Fuel not really going to be an issue for these drivers out here, so wonder, if there's any strategy left to be played or if your bed is already made as far as pit strategy goes, as we're 26 to go. So now Mullins, after last week's DQ, starting to put together some impressive lap times, starting to slowly close that gap. He's got plenty of time if he can continue to tick off laps like he did that last time around. Picked up almost 0.2 of a second over the leader here. We'll see if it updates this time by. Last lap, Thompson actually just a tad bit faster. No, there it goes. It just updated. A tenth of a second faster for Mullins. Looking like that is continuing here this lap. No, a little bit better. 3 and 4 for Thompson. But a pretty close lap this time around. We'll see if we get the update and see who can run down who here. Well, it didn't. There it goes. It just updated. So, yeah, Mullins continues to be about a tenth of a second faster a lap. If he can maintain that running down Thompson, he should be there before the end of this race. The difference is going to be getting there and getting around Thompson. He's had a rough stretch, a rough go, I'd say probably out of the last 3 out of the last 5 races. Thompson has had a pretty rough go at it. But tonight, now trying to hold off a hard-charging Michael Mullins here as it come down to 22 laps to go from Richmond. Down to 0.7 of a second for Mullins running down Thompson. How much of this could be cat and mouse game here? Could Thompson be backing the pace off, just trying to give the 64 a little hope, hoping he pushes it just a little bit harder, but also saving a little bit of tire, so if Mullins does get there, Thompson can put the throttle back down. Can't imagine there's probably too much of that right now for Thompson. He wants to continue to maintain this lead and not have to even really worry about it that lap around. Much better for Thompson as he opens up the gap about a tenth of a second. But a really good 1 and 2 from Mullins, going to get that tenth of a second right back from Thompson here. We'll go ahead and continue to show the lap times because, yeah, that last lap, Thompson faster. This lap around, Thompson edges by just a little bit once again. So could it be the cat and mouse game? Could the 3 have backed off just a little bit, trying to save a little bit of stuff? How hard is the 64 pushing to get there? The race is winding down. We only have 14 drivers left on the lead lap after this one so far here with 18 to go, but still plenty of cars out there on the racetrack. One caution can completely change the complexity of this race as Justin Thompson trying his best to hold off Michael Mullins in the closing stages of this race. The gap pretty much maintaining right there. The 64 loses about a tenth and a half that lap, getting around the lap car of the 38 there. So now Mullins really strong in 1 and 2. Struggles that time a little bit coming off the quarter and 2. Right now, if Thompson can keep doing this, I don't believe Mullins is going to have enough time to get there. 15 laps to go. Some of the action a little further back in the pack. Lucas Strayer is now knocking on the door here. Sitting P11, a little bit of ground to go if he wants to crack the top 10. Thomas Stokes, Jared Hutton, Kyle Ether, again, still a great rebound for him. Riding in P8, Stephen Miles, again, another good rebound after qualifying up front. Believe had to serve a penalty. It got back on the racetrack, found himself in the back with some bent-in fenders, and now has got that car as well inside the top 10 here. Zachary in the 5, continuing a strong ballad here for his championship hopes. Now riding P5, Curtis White put the car on the pole. Had some, wasn't able to maintain it for very long, but has consistently kept that car inside the top 5 all night. Lilith Peters, very strong in the middle part of this race. Fading now just a little bit. You see her getting a little loose off of 3 and 4. I believe the tires have gone away on her car here this evening. And then this battle here with Michael Mullins and Justin Thompson. Now down to 0.6 of a second. Mullins is trying to get there. The 38 kind of hanging all around the 64 here. Gotta be frustrating for a lap car to be racing you this hard coming down when you're trying to battle the race leader. Man, I'm going to have to get a look to see maybe a teammate to the 3 there, trying his best to hold up the 64. Not seeing that so much in the Discord. Just trying to get a look. Mullins, a part of RPM there. Thompson up in the chat for, oh, I just lost him. Where'd he go? I'm trying, there he is, Cornerstone. So I don't think there's a real affiliation there. Might be, maybe I am just not paying attention out here. But now the 64 does clear. It's back to 0.7 of a second. Might be just enough what he needed there as he continued to go through some more lap cars. I believe that was going to be Mullins' best opportunity. While Thompson had to deal with all that lap traffic, he gets through, but Mullins dealing with the 38 there, kind of hanging around his door. I think if we get a word from Mullins later, he may have something to say about that, as now the lead is back to 1 second with the 64 trapped between Thompson and 2 lap cars here that he needs to work his way through. We are coming out of turn 4. We are heading to 7 to go. You never know, that pesky caution could still fly at some point here in this one, but Mullins really having a difficult time getting through the traffic, now up to 1.4 seconds. So again, the guy who has really had a rough mid to late season here, now on track to put this thing back in the right direction and potentially get his points lead back, as we're heading to about 3 races to go before they crown a champion here for the All-American Cup Series. Thompson smooth out of 2, looking to head into 3 and 4 right now. A little bit of lap traffic. Oh, the 12, woo! The 3 got there in a hurry. Maybe the 12 not quite ready for as fast as Thompson was going to get there. Now it's kind of hanging there. But now just goes to the high side of the racetrack, getting out of the way of the 3. I just don't think the 12 was quite prepared at the closing rate of Thompson there. Now going to race him down into the corner. So when you're Thompson with a 1.4 second lead, I don't think this will get you too frustrated. If Mullins was still 0.6 of a second off the back bumper, I think he'd be a little bit less patient trying to work through some of this traffic. You see the 14 car, excuse me, I believe that's a 19 going to just slide up. Yeah, Melnick just slide up out of the way, just let the leader go by, as Thompson now up to 1.4 second. Valiant effort out of Mullins here under the green flag. You know, still a lot could change, but I think right now it's pretty much sewn up. This is Justin Thompson's race to lose right now. If he can keep that thing pointed in the right direction, we will see the 3 car pretty happy at the end of this one. Heading out of turn 2, looking for 2 laps to go here from Richmond, the All-American Cup Series. Once Thompson got to the lead, really just did not want to give it back. 63 laps led. Believe that is going to be the most by anybody here this evening. Get a look at the last laps around. Yeah, just continuing identical lap times there. Mullins just getting his way through the traffic. But Justin Thompson will take the white flag here from Richmond. One more lap around. If Thompson can keep it on the track, pointed the right direction, he will score himself a huge evening here down the back straightaway into 3 and 4 for the final time here. He's just going to baby it through this quarter. He's got a sizable lead. Out of turn 4, Justin Thompson is going to win from Richmond. Justin Thompson, much needed win here for the driver of the 3. The 64 gonna come up here, maybe give him a little congratulations right to the back bumper. Sure does, and I'm gonna pull it down pit road. Thompson rolls through 3 and 4. Gotta imagine we're gonna see him burn it down here on the front straightaway. Gotta be just pure elation for Justin Thompson, finally getting back to victory lane here at the All-American Cup Series. Well, we said we might have to save our interviews for the end. You get to see Justin Thompson burn it down here on the front straightaway. Try to get a better camera angle than that. Come on, iRacing, give us one. As his teammate's going to come up. The O2 going to just go up there and give him some congratulations. Let's see if we can get a word with this evening's winner. Well, Justin, from Cornerstone Racing here, you go ahead and grab yourself another victory. Finally, the train gets rolling again after a rough stretch. Congratulations on the win.
Oh man, that one wasn't easy at all. That was a hard-fought win.
Yeah, you and Lilith Peters were having one hell of a race there for a while. Just talk about that. You know, she's running a slightly higher line, getting those big runs down the straightaway. Your car seemed to be pretty hooked up on the bottom. When you guys were kind of changing lanes, she used the high side to get underneath you, put you on the outside. Just how much fun were you having behind the wheel?
Man, it was a lot of fun. Cold tires was rough. I mean, as you saw after I came out of pit road with the lead, you know, on cold tires, I about looped it getting into one, and I chased it all the way up the hill, and I was like, oh, no. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, we're good now. We're good.
Yeah, big slide.
Yeah, it was a big slide. It was a big moment. The race in between me and Lilith, that was a lot of fun. She's really good at flat track that I've noticed. So, you know, it's I knew coming into this that it would be a tough race if I'm able to get to the front, because at first, before qualifying even happened, I was having a time in practice. I couldn't get a handle on the car at all, and you know, I figured a way to qualify and run a semi-safe lap so I could get a good time in at least, and you know, just took my time. Found something early in the race as far as driving line was concerned, so found something that would work for me and started picking off positions on the first run. Then Ken and Mullins got into it coming out of 2, and I got pile drive from the back. I had about 30 seconds worth of damage. I had to get repaired because I knew if I didn't get it repaired, it wouldn't have any bite on the rear end any worse, or it would be worse as far as bite was concerned on the rear end if I didn't. So went ahead, got it fixed, went to the back, took my time, get back to the front. Yeah, it was a good race. It was fun. Probably one of the loosest setups we've ran all season.
Yeah, I got in there at practice, and that thing was a handful. It was like you drove it off in the corner, a little loose, felt like it was going to bite, and then as soon as you rolled back into the throttle, it was like, all right, we want to go the other way. But you alluded to something there with Mullins and Ken. Big moment. That took out several cars. Were you worried at the beginning of the race that was going to be kind of the theme of the night? Did you ever think you were going to get those long green flag runs where it seemed to really play into your strategy?
Early in the night, I did not think that we was going to get any long runs at all. And then, you know, after the big wreck happened off of 2, and we got I think a couple more quick cautions after that. After that, everybody kind of brought their patience back a little bit and let the car come to them, and was able to get some long runs going. And then I was up front. I don't know what was bringing out the caution for the rest of the race.
Just a lot of loose race cars. Let's put it that way. And you know, I'm not going to call anybody out on name, but maybe also some frustrations brought out a caution or two in that one. We heard different stories, but I think some frustration set in at the end of this one, but not for you. A huge win. What does this mean now moving into the final few races of the season? This definitely puts you back into that champion. Well, it's not that you were out of the championship conversation, but definitely puts a huge stamp on it. You're going to gain a ton of points, but also kind of a staple win that if you go green flag racing, you're going to have to mess with Thompson.
Well, Richmond was kind of like my Talladega. It was either going to be good or it was going to be bad. It turned out, Lady Luck wanted to play with me tonight, and it had a good night. So, we'll take it as it comes and see how the rest of the season shakes out.
Well, thanks for jumping in here with us. Congratulations on your win tonight.
Appreciate it, Craig. Thanks to everybody at Cornerstone for, telling me not to give up in practice. Thanks to Casey for keeping the league going, even though he's been pretty frustrated for the past couple of seasons. Thank you, Joseph, for coming on and doing live admin again. That's a nice thing to have again. And of course, thank you for coming to broadcast, man. I really enjoy going back and watching them.
Well, I appreciate that, man. We're having an absolute blast up here in the booth. This is such a fun series to keep an eye on. And, you're one of the guys we come out and try to cover every week because what you can do behind the wheel is truly impressive.
Yeah, hopefully next season the car will get a couple more updates to calm down some of the dirty air. Because this season it hasn't put on as good of races as it did when it first released, but at the same time, the first release it was a bunch of wreck fest because everybody was right on top of each other because the dirty air was masked by the inherent humongous draft we had.
Yeah.
So hopefully we get a couple more updates to kind of fine tune on the aero of this car, and I think iRacing's got something good to work with here if they'll just keep at it.
Well, appreciate you letting us have the words with here at the end of the race. Congrats on the win, bud.
Appreciate it, Greg.
Well, there we go. All kinds of noise is going off right now. The firehouse is busy. So sorry about that if that went off in your ears. One of the things of the old Jolly Volley life. You never know when that thing's going to fire off. But for this evening here, let's go ahead. Let's bring up tonight's final results. As you got your winner nice up and close there in the background, let's pull up the final results from the feature in this one. We got our word with Justin Thompson there. Your winner will get a word with a couple more of these guys. Get their thoughts. Michael Mullins there in the 64. Another great recovery for him. Lilith Peters, Curtis Whites, Zachary in the 02. Continues a strong season for him. Stephen Miles, again, a nice comeback and bounce back for him. Sheldon Atkins did a great job in the 65 machine as well as Kyle Ether, Jared Hutton, and Thomas Stokes all getting caught up in early incidents in the race and coming back to finish inside the top 10 here this evening. We'll get a look at continued through. Here you see some notable names in this list. Moving down, Casey Carrington, a P16 finish. Dayton Taylor moves up to 21st. He's still, he was turning those laps out there. Believe he picked up several spots from when he was sitting on pit road. So, again, it must be another frustrating race for him. And so it's Chris Worrell. That is an absolute heartbreak for him. He finally had worked so hard to get up there and just blinks out of the race. And then I guess he just said, that's just my luck. Maybe had a second blink out there. Finishes 56 laps down. James Silver's there, 153. Christopher Heller Jr., 176 laps down in 31st position. That is going to be huge implications into the championship here this evening. And Dylan Rosenberg down there with that early incident, taking him out of this one. We'll continue to go through here and get some thoughts of these guys here this evening. Waiting on us is our P2 finisher tonight, Michael Mullins. It's Craig up in the booth. How's it going,
Craig,
bud?
how's it going?
It's going.
I told you first. What you got?
Well, after last week, we had a little bit of drama, I guess we should say. You hang on for P2. You're running down Mullins there. Thompson. And you're doing a good job. And then it seemed like a particular orange car was hanging around you. It kind of made it difficult for you to continue to run down the leader. Talk on that. Was there any frustration there? Or, what were the strengths and weaknesses of your car? You got caught up with the 09. There's a lot happening with Mullins here this weekend. We got to get caught up. So just give us the rundown.
Yeah, truth be told, I haven't looked at the replay with Ken yet. I know he was mad. I know I was running him hard. I'm not going to disagree with that. I really wanted the lead. I really wanted the clean air because I knew that I'd be able to save tire out front. So there was one restart where, yeah, I was on the bottom and I probably took a lane and a half. I feel like, and I say feel because I genuinely haven't seen it, I feel like I got my nose chopped into one when we made contact, when we both slid sideways into one.
Hell of a save, though, by both guys.
Yeah,
I got to say,
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
very impressed how you guys both hung on to those cars.
I couldn't believe that we kept going straight after that. I gathered her back up. I drove out of 2. I don't even know if it was Ken or not. Somebody got me in the right rear. Thankfully, it didn't spin the car around. Apparently, he got more damage than I did out of it. I only got about 30 seconds of body work, so I got that fixed and was going fine again. But tell you what, one of the best things I could have done in the moment was just be quiet, because boy, did Ken put himself in the doghouse. Sometimes you just gotta know when to not say anything, and I'm glad I didn't in that moment. But no, aside from that, I kind of had to flip the next caution. I took tires when that happened and got the damage fixed. And we ran 10 laps or so. Caution comes out. Everyone pits. I stayed out. So I was able to kind of flip it again and get back up to the front. Lilith got by me on a little bit better tire, but we had another caution where everything was pretty equal from there on out. Some cautions happened in the middle. I can't quite remember. That last run, I knew that I was running him down by about a quarter of a tenth a lap, just slowly trickling in. And I don't really have any issue with Justin at all, because Justin he was there, but Justin didn't really inhibit me in any way. I was kind of wanting to run the top at that point in the run anyway, and he wasn't like washing up the track or dooring me or anything. So I think there was also a stint with like 15 to go where he realized it wasn't fruitful, and he backed off and let me race. So no, there's no issue there at all.
All right. Well, just so you know, while you're giving your interview, if you go back and watch later, I queued up the earlier incident down there so you can maybe get another peek at it.
Oh dear, what happened?
Well, it's tough to say here. I'll go back and we'll break this down here one more time. I'll get a little bit of a rewind. It looked like into turn 1. Maybe he was expecting you to turn down just a little bit earlier. I don't think you're wrong for feeling like as if you were chopped there. It's tough. I think you're kind of both going for the same real estate. I think you wanted a later arc into the corner. I think he was ready to turn off the wall. I gotta say, it's two fantastic saves, and then maybe that right rear is just heated up on the 09. He goes to get back in the throttle off of 2, and then chaos ensues underneath.
Yeah. For what it's worth, the kind of the line, the approach into 1 here is the harder you're pushing, the more you want to open up entry. When I'm tire saving, I've got a really shallow entry because it scrubs that right front a little less. But when you're pushing for the lead like we were, it's a relatively wide arc into 1 through 2. So, I didn't feel like I got up into him. I felt like I gave him a lane. I apologize if he doesn't feel the same. But regardless, just a quick side note, I want to say congrats to Justin. He drove a great race, and he was also, after when you say last week's drama, I am assuming you've heard the news
Yes.
about last week.
Yes.
Aside from my teammates, Justin is literally the only person here who has said anything positive to me about last week. So it's very fitting that he beat me tonight, and I have all of the congratulations for him. No, it was a fun race. It was a good race. I'm pretty proud of it.
Yeah, like you said, after that incident, you did a good job flipping the stage. Were you worried about if it had stayed green? Were you hoping for it to stay green to kind of get yourself a little bit of an advantage maybe later on? Kind of almost the same situation as Kansas, where you kind of had to flip a part of the race and still came all the way back to the front. Was that where was your mind at when you have to flip part of the race like that and kind of get off strategy?
Well, it was in my mind, the idea of running the tank dry again. But, ultimately the difference between this week and last week was this week I restarted that off strategy with the lead, where last week in Kansas I restarted that off strategy in like 20th. So
Yeah.
So in the moment I really knew that as long as a caution comes out kind of at any point here, we'll all be on equal tires and I'll be okay. It wasn't like last week where I was running 11th or 10th or whatever it was.
And you hit the lottery.
Before the pit cycle. Yeah, exactly. So no, I was kind of, at that point in time, as long as we had gone like 30 laps, I was kind of hoping for a caution at any point, really. So that still turned out okay. No, after the trials of today, I will take a P2.
Yeah. All right. Well, congratulations on that P2. Another excellent run for you. Anybody you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
No, of course. I mean, once again, my teammates, Thomas and Curtis, we had a substitute tonight, Sheldon Atkins. He filled in for Eli. He did a fantastic job with a
That he did.
car. It's quite funny, but no, he did really well. He did good for Eli, so proud of him. Once again, congrats to Justin for winning. Thanks to Casey for surviving the dramas and trials and tribulations of the league and continuing to host it. And thank you, Joseph Penn, because he stepped in back as an admin role today, so it was nice to have a real person monitoring the race as far as an admin goes. Yeah, that's about it, I suppose.
All right. Well, thanks for checking in with us at the end of this one. Congrats on the P2.
All right. Thanks, Greg. Take care.
Well, want to get at least one more driver's take of this evening's events. Lilith Peters, it's Craig. You got a copy? Well, you had an impressive drive tonight, involved in several battles for the lead with Mullins and Thompson there. Just tell us, how much fun were you having battling for the lead? I know P3 is probably not where you want to end up, but still a good points day. You're going to be able to more than likely maintain that points lead going into it. But just how much fun, because it seemed like your car was so hooked up in the middle of the race. How much fun were you having in those battles?
I had a lot of fun. This is one of my favorite tracks, and I kind of expected a top 5, but kind of hurts not to win after leading so much, but I'll take the third anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I thought you were going to walk away with this. In the middle of that race, your car was on rails. I mean, you continue to impress every single week. There's a reason that you're the points leader. I just wanted to ask you one thing. You were running a slightly different line than, say, Thompson or Mullins. You were a little bit higher in the quarter, carrying a ton of speed down the straightaway. Is that something you found in practice or something during the week that played more into your style?
Yeah, I didn't really feel comfortable all the way in the bottom. And I didn't like going all the way out to the wall if I could help it either. Safer.
Yeah.
Safer for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a good call considering how the start of this race started out. You kind of had a front row seat with the 64 and 09. Do you have any thoughts on that one? Because it sounds like maybe some drama. Stir the pot up a little bit, Lilith.
I think it was just a little measuring contest going on. I would not be part of it.
Well, that's one way to stir the pot up, but nonetheless, congrats on the P3. Thanks for checking in with us.
Thanks, Craig. Have a good night.
Well, let's see. Can we find the man? Oh, he's bouncing. I just saw him. You just moved in the chat for us, Mr. CEO. I got you up here. Casey, it's Craig. Not quite the night the 9 car was looking for. I gotta say though, I believe you were involved in that one, but pretty spectacular wreck heading into 3 and 4 halfway down the back straightaway.
Yeah, the wreck that took me out, I mean, I was really heated at the 66. We're going 3 wide there, but looking at the replay after the race, it was, I mean, I guess it was a racing incident. Hell, if you could put it on anybody, I guess me, if we're getting into the 25, but that just killed my night. I mean, I had almost 10 minutes of repairs from that, so I was just a damn lapped car up there amongst the top 10 the rest of the night. But, yeah, not the night I was looking for, unfortunately. I mean, Richmond's been statistically one of my best tracks for finishes in this league, and was scared to death in qualifying because I know he spun out in both corners on my first lap, so I just put it in the show with a second lap, and I paid the price of being there. I mean, I would have been taken out in that huge wreck right after anyway, probably, but, you know, and of course, you know, I'm going in all week thinking it's going to be 20 cautions, and I could have benefited from having 20 cautions tonight. We didn't get it.
I was just going to bring that up. You said all week long you're expecting a ton of cautions. You get a bunch of damage. As the owner, CEO, whatever you want to call yourself here, that's not what you want to see. But when you're behind the wheel and you have that much damage, was that something in the back of your mind? Like, hey, come on, let's go. Let's keep this up. I got a car to repair.
Oh, yeah, I said it with about 50 to go. I was like, hey, what happened to all that wrecking y'all were doing? And it just fell on deaf ears. But, yeah, man, I mean, it sucks. You know, like I said, I feel like I got really lucky, obviously, with the DQ and all that nonsense last week, getting an extra 8 points from that. Kind of made it through Talladega with a mediocre finish, survived Dover, which was like, 15 cautions. So
Yep.
I guess I was kind of due to get caught up in one and really get screwed. But, and I mean, it could have been worse. I still finished 16th. I mean,
yeah,
8.5 minutes of damage on lap 15. I could have easily been like 32nd. So
yeah, I was gonna say there was a lot of guys who got caught up early who kept it on the racetrack, yourself included. That it ended up making up quite a few spots out there. You know, obviously you have Lilith and Thompson who finished up in first and third here this evening. You know, Curtis White had another good run. You know, heading into the break, we heard a couple guys saying that there was some tempers just flared. I honestly though, for a Richmond race, what do we have? 9? Is that 9 cautions? Was that
9
right?
cautions, yeah.
And I think 2 or 3 of them were for just innocent spins up off the quarter. Yeah, no, we had that one big wreck, but
I don't know. Murphy's spin wasn't that innocent. I mean, that looked like a Final Destination kind of wreck right in front of me. But single car incident though.
Yeah, that was tough. We went on board, that car started sliding, that snaps back into the wall. But I mean, it didn't seem like, with the exception of maybe 3 or so, just guys kind of getting into each other. You expect that at short track racing. So I think all in all, I think you guys put on a spectacular show tonight.
Yeah, we got it out of the way early. I mean, I don't know if you have the driver radio piped in your ear during the broadcast, but we sure got after each other on the radio, and I may have cut somebody out that I didn't even see on track the entire race. And so, but yeah, I mean, rough start, and then I think that big wreck actually kind of helped with the race because it's thinned the field out, and so many people had damage, and it allowed us to kind of have a pace discrepancy and get spread out. That was far and away the loosest car I've ever driven in this league. That setup was we were talking about it before the race, Craig. That was I don't think if this was open setup, I don't think that's the setup I'd be using.
Yeah, it was a handful, especially for a guy who hasn't really turned many laps in these. I know I've got out and practiced a couple times the last few weeks and just messed around, but yeah, that was a handful here tonight. But yeah, like you said, that big wreck, it spread out the field, a lot of guys with damage, but it also, do you think maybe it just scared some of the drivers? Like, like I said, I don't think we had that many cars involved in any of the wrecks at Talladega. Is that something maybe some of the guys were going, all right, I'm gonna relax here a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping that's what the start of the race was going to be. I stressed it in the little pre-race speech, and it was just, I was just trying to survive, man, in those first 10, 15 laps. And like I said, I guess, from the outside of the car, it looks like I caused the wreck, and so be it. But I was just trying to pace around, and you got faster cars behind you, slower cars in front of you, and I was hoping everybody was going to be patient, I guess, and took about half the field getting wrecked out for that to happen, unfortunately.
Well, before we let you go, is there anybody that I didn't have the driver's audios on in my ears in this one. I think for good reason. I had a feeling that tempers could flare and I might get distracted. But you think there's anybody we should grab one last guy for the broadcast booth here that might have something to say that might perk up the ears of everyone?
Before he goes to bed, Justin Ray had a good run going until he got caught up in one of those last cautions. He was running, I think, 8th or 9th and had about 12 minutes of damage to fix. If he'd be a good person to pull up. Actually, I think he just left. So, oh, no, there he is.
I just pulled him
I'll
up.
let you talk to him because he's usually one of the first out of here to go to bed. So,
all right.
Quick shout out to Joseph Penn for coming in and doing race control tonight. That was a big help. Probably helped keep the tempers down more than they would have been. And shout out to you for doing the broadcast, and shout out to Thanksgiving for being next week, so I can take a week off if I definitely need it.
Yeah, definitely enjoy a big meal because you're gonna need it after maybe doing some review of this one. But not the run you're looking for, but not the worst. Your championship hopes stay alive. So we'll look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'll see you in Atlanta.
Well, let's bring in the driver of the 38. Justin, it's Craig in the booth. Casey said to come up here and bend your ear here this evening. So you were having a good run. We were notating that. You were inside the top 10. Tell us about your night.
Yeah, I knew during practice the setup being loose like it was, I said this is going to be a long night, but unfortunately, a bunch of cars got taken out in front of me, and it just how it played out. I was able to miss them and stay out of it and make my way to the front. And then on that long green flag, I said, if I can make it to 125, 126 and pit, if it were to go green, then I would be sitting pretty good. And unfortunately, as soon as I'm leaving pit exit, the caution comes out. And obviously, you go 2 laps down at Richmond under green.
Yeah,
pit stops.
That's a tough. That was a tough break because I was just saying I was 2 laps I think before you went. I was expecting a lot of the leaders to start to make their way on pit road, and then I see you duck in, and then the yellow flag comes out for a spin off of 4. How do you, as a driver, for me, I would just be frustrated with the world and probably end up creating more chaos for myself. How do you maintain, just try to stay cool-headed and just say, well, I got to make the best of this that I can at this point?
Well, I know with the incident, obviously going 2 laps down, and then at least getting one lap back on the free pass, and then the incident with Murphy, I know that was just a complete accident. I think the Stephen had maybe checked up a little earlier than he expected and locked it up, got into me, and it happens. But I know this sounds bad, but it never fails. It's a running joke on the team. What piston broke is if I get damaged, we're going green. So, obviously we almost went green there all the way to the end. Actually, I think we might have. I truly can't remember.
I think after you got your last lap back, it did stay green.
Yep, it never fails. And I've been in this league almost since the beginning, and it's a great league. Casey does a great job running it. I give him kudos for not pulling his hair out. But I enjoy it. It brings me back every week, but it is always something every week that I get caught up in. So I know it sounds terrible, but I'm kind of used to it. Just get the damage fixed and get back on track and see what we can do.
Yeah, so, like you said, I think a little bit of an early checkup, earlier than they were expecting. You get tapped. You do a good job saving it. I know it taps the wall a little bit. Did you know it wasn't over just yet after the rear end tapped the wall, or were you just hoping that everyone saw you just got to the bottom of the racetrack? Because when it came back down to 23, I shouldn't say it took the nose off of that thing.
Yeah, well, I saw him come up quick through the window, and I said, well, we're about to make contact. So I'd already lifted somewhat, and I thought I had it saved. The wall kind of caught the rear end, kicked the nose back. I'm like, all right, cool. Maybe we can keep a yellow from coming out, save it. And then I think the 7 had locked it up coming in hot. And when he bumped me, that's when it shot me back down into the front of the 23. and didn't realize how bad it was until I was trying to get the car straight, and my wheel was almost 90 degrees to the left.
That's never good.
So I said, well, that's going to end it. And it was 12 minutes. Like I said, sat there, got the damage fixed. Why not? I told the guys, I said, I'm coming back out in 2 laps. Y'all better be ready. And I didn't realize where I was up there with Thompson and Mullins. You know, once I realized Mullins was second and we were running down laps, I kind of just got back behind him and tried to let him run his race. I'm going to try to interfere with him trying to chase down Justin.
Yeah, I see. I got to call myself out. I was being a little critical of you there for a hot minute. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I don't know if he knows he's racing P2 right now. He's running them pretty hard. And then I did see you back off of it, and I'm like, all right, maybe just, you know, as a driver, you're just in your groove sometimes. Then you hear that spotter say, oh, 15, 20 laps ago. You're like, oh, wait a second.
Yeah. I was just, like I said, frustrated. And came back out, was running laps, and like I said, I thought I had kind of got around everyone somewhat quickly. And then once I realized where I was in the running order, I said, well, I am trying to get a lap back, but it's not going to matter. I'm 26 laps down. We have 15 to go. I'm just going to sit here and ride.
Well, any big plans for the big break next week before you go off to to Atlanta?
I don't know. Maybe get some practice in on pit stops so I can get in and get out quicker. maybe I could just be. It sucks so bad because as it's coming out, I see the leader pass me, and I'm like, okay.
You're like,
that's just how it happens.
Yeah,
we go again.
Well, if we don't get a chance to catch up with you, hope you have a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you in Atlanta.
All right, I appreciate it. Have a good one.
Well, that will do it here this evening from Richmond. Justin Thompson, you'll see him here going down the back straightaway into 3 and 4. A sizable lead here this evening. Runs away with it late, coming out of 4. Will continue his championship hopes here for the All-American Cup Series. Thank you guys so much for checking out the CSR broadcast of the All-American Cup Series. Hopefully we'll be live yet again. Maybe tomorrow night. Might take a night off. This is night 3, 4 in a row. We'll see if I have a voice in the morning. But once again, appreciate you guys coming out and taking a look at this one. What an eventful and honestly an awesome race. I know we had that chaos. We had a huge stack up there early in the race. Some drama coming out of that one. But nonetheless, a fantastic race. Some long green flag runs, pit stops. Kind of everything that you would pretty much hope for in a Richmond race. A lot of battling for the lead amongst several different drivers. A lot of guys leading laps here. So all in all, I give this a 10 out of 10. This was a fantastic race here for the All-American Cup Series. Again, appreciate you guys coming out. If you could do me a favor, just hit the like or follow button. You'll get a notification when we go live here at the CSR broadcast channel. We got a couple more series coming up in the bank here as well. We were lucky and fortunate enough to do the 4-wide racing series, stepping in for KBRN last night. Hopefully we can meet up with those guys and jump in the booth with them at some point. That would be a blast. But if we don't see you guys, I have a feeling we'll see you guys. I'll probably be going live. We do have some Thanksgiving Day races and festivities, maybe a day or two leading up to Thanksgiving, so we should be back live before that. But if we don't see you guys before that, I hope you guys have a happy Thanksgiving. Fill up on plenty of food, or hang out with the family, have a drink or two, swap some stories. We will see you guys next time. Check us out on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. We are on Facebook, trying to grow that following so we can live stream there as well. Until next time, see ya.